The Woman in the White Shroud. Introduction. There is a chilling tale whispered among the villagers of a small, remote Moroccan town. Known as, the Woman in the White Shroud, her story has haunted the area for generations. Some claim to have seen her wandering near cemeteries and abandoned homes, her presence marking the thin line between life and death. Those who encounter her rarely live to tell the tale, and those who do are forever changed. The origin. Decades ago, a young woman named Salma lived in this very village. She was known for her beauty and her kindness, but her life was marred by tragedy. On the night before her wedding, she was found lifeless in her home, still wearing her wedding gown, a beautiful white dress adorned with delicate lace. Her death was a mystery, with no signs of struggle or illness. Devastated by the loss, her family buried her in that very gown, placing her to rest in a cemetery just outside the village. But the villagers say her spirit never truly found peace. Rumors began to circulate, sightings of a ghostly figure dressed in a white shroud wandering the town late at night. The encounter. One fateful evening, a young man named Youssef, who had recently moved to the village, decided to challenge the local superstition. He was skeptical of the stories and determined to prove that the so-called ghost was nothing more than a figment of collective imagination. Armed with a flashlight and his courage, he ventured out toward the cemetery at midnight. As he approached the wrought iron gates of the graveyard, a thick fog began to roll in, and the temperature dropped dramatically. The air grew heavy, and an unsettling silence blanketed the area. Suddenly, Youssef's flashlight flickered and died, plunging him into darkness. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw movement, a faint, glowing figure drifting among the gravestones. His heart raced as the figure came into view. It was a woman, her face obscured by the shadow of a veil, her body draped in a flowing white shroud. She moved with an unnatural grace, her feet seemingly hovering above the ground. Youssef's breath caught in his throat as the woman turned to face him. Her eyes were hollow, dark voids that seemed to pierce his soul. She raised a bony hand and pointed directly at him, her voice echoing in a low, otherworldly tone. "You should not have come here." The chase. Panic consumed him. Youssef turned and ran, his feet barely finding traction on the damp grass. Behind him, he could hear the soft rustling of the shroud and the faint sound of her voice chanting something incomprehensible yet horrifying. He dared not look back, but the sensation of being watched was unbearable. The fog thickened, and the path back to the village seemed endless. Just when he thought he was safe, he tripped over a tree root, falling hard to the ground. As he scrambled to his feet, he felt a cold hand grip his shoulder. Turning, he found himself face to face with the woman. Her face was now fully visible, gaunt and decayed, her hollow eyes filled with an eerie light. She leaned in close and whispered, "You cannot escape the dead." The aftermath. Youssef woke up hours later, lying at the edge of the cemetery, his clothes damp with morning dew. Villagers found him in a state of shock, his hair streaked with gray. Though he survived, he was never the same. He spoke of the woman in the white shroud, warning others never to challenge the spirits. Over time, more stories surfaced, of travelers and curious villagers who vanished without a trace after venturing too close to the cemetery at night. Conclusion. The legend of the woman in the white shroud serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that linger in the shadows. To this day, villagers avoid the cemetery after dark, lighting candles in their homes and saying prayers to ward off her restless spirit. So, if you ever find yourself in a quiet Moroccan village and hear whispers of a woman in white, heed their warning. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed.